An environmental campaigner has gone on trial after he climbed an oil drilling rig and stayed there for 10 hours. The rig was in the process of being moved between two sites in West Sussex and was parked at a service station at the time. David Allard has more.
Support for Dr. Peter Whittick outside court in Brighton this morning. In the witness box, he described himself as a conscientious protector, opposed to the industrialisation of the countryside by energy companies test drilling for oil. The 54-year-old from Crawley was here to face a charge of hindering a person from driving on their onward journey. It relates to an incident last September when an oil drill rig was being moved from the UK oil and gas test site at Broadford Bridge near Billingshurst to the Angus Energy Lidsey site near Bognor Regis. The rig had been left overnight in the lorry park at Pease Pottage Services on the M23. When the two men escorting it, driver Norman Adcock and engineer Anthony Rowe, returned to the services at 2:30 a.m, they saw Dr. Whittick at the top of the rig, to which anti-drilling and fracking banners had been attached. Mr. Rowe told the court he asked Dr. Whittick if he was going to come down, and when he didn't, he called the police. Dr. Whittick eventually climbed down of his own accord 10 hours later. The court was told his actions had delayed operations at the Lidsey drilling site and meant the driver, Mr. Adcock, ended up working 21 hours that day. Dr. Whittick, who was representing himself, claimed that the early morning movement of the rig between the two sites was in fact in breach of the time specified on their operating permits. By occupying the rig, he argued, he'd prevented a further breach, and he was exercising his human rights by stopping the equipment causing future harm to communities. I was trying to do the right thing, he told the court. It was an act of conscience. He also accused police of treating him as a domestic extremist. But the prosecution argued the wording of the site permits could be interpreted as allowing drilling rigs to be moved outside the hours of 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. District Judge Christopher James reserved judgment until next week. David Allard, BBC South Today, Brighton.